Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 55 of the sensational ArtaCast. We are back with another deep dive into the Winterspell meta. The set actually came out this weekend, and I had probably the most fun I ever had in like sealed from my side. Can talk about that. The release was very fun. My case, which I opened, was also very good, so I'm quite happy. Um, and also from my side, the meta is also was better, but was also worse, so I'm quite okay with it. LD, how are you doing? How do you feel? Have you also been to a release event or something? And did you open boxes, and how was your pull?
Yeah, I didn't go to a release event because I was busy on Saturday when I would have been able to go and play in one, unfortunately. But I have played a ton, and I opened 6 boxes, and they were really good. I was very happy. I had 3 enchanteds in my 6 boxes, so I was super pleased. And yeah, I know that like there's been some discussion around like pull rates and stuff going on Twitter and places, and it's especially Americans seem to be getting a little bit of a rough deal of it. So I do feel for them, and I understand that it's probably annoying if you've just pulled nothing to hear people talking about the great stuff they got. But yeah, sorry to hear that for those people. But mine worked out okay. I've certainly had bad cases in the past, so I take the good with the bad. Um, yeah, I have had a lot of fun playing, continuing to play and test. It's getting to the point in the format now where like things start to become quite defined, and that's generally like I notice a bit of a drop in my own enjoyment of the format just as it starts to get set, because it feels like some of those doors of possibility begin to close a little bit. Still think there's plenty of room for innovation, but it feels like we've got a pretty good handle on what this format's going to look like now. And the early impression is like very open. I think there are tons of playable decks. I've been doing some preparations for the CCQ in Leicester, which is coming up this coming weekend, and trying to think about, because I'll be casting, not playing, so I'm trying to think about projected metagame and sharing some information with my co-casters to um, help give them insights from my testing as well, so that we can put on a good show for everyone. And the conclusion is pretty much like feels super open. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of different stuff you can play, and definitely, like you say, it's been better, but it's also been way worse. And to me now, like I'm comparing against Fabled format, Whispers format. I'm much happier now. I feel, in general, like things have really moved in the right direction.
Yes, that sounds good. So what we want to go into do today is we want to talk about specific cards actually, which we think is good to analyze some cards that are overperforming and underperforming in the current format, and also that should help us all getting a better how can I say, better ability to evaluate cards in the future. I don't know what we're actually doing when we evaluate them wrong, but sometimes they also don't fit just right into the game or how it develops or something. So probably we'll always do some mistakes by evaluating cards, but it's interesting to, yeah, I think to
Uh,
analyze that and also to see how the meta shifts right now.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing to do is to reflect a little bit, because I think lots of people tend to they obviously you're analyzing cards as soon as you see them and you're making your first impressions of them, and then maybe people are reflecting like towards the end of a set. But I think a couple of weeks into testing, it's really good to do something like this, check in, like, is the stuff that we thought was going to be good actually good? If it's not, what's good instead? Because there's definitely a lot of impactful cards in this set, but I think in quite a few cases they're not exactly what I thought they would be, which is should hopefully be interesting for everyone as we go through them.
But maybe before we start, I think it's
Mm.
still important to let the people know, or to just say for us, which are still an important question. I think which are the best decks right now. I think that's just good as a start for us to say that what we think are the best decks right now. So, do you want to start? What do you think are the tier? It's always this tier one. I would say tier one till tier 1.5 decks. I mean
Yeah,
I mean decks that you can bring to Ghent, for instance, and having a good run. Um, if things go into
yeah,
your favor. What do you think are these decks?
yeah. Well, I think the most obvious tier one choice at the moment is probably Blurple.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to me, it's like really close to a mathematically perfect deck. It's when you look at it now, you're like, what could they even print that would like make you cut a single card here?
Mm-hmm.
It is unbelievably efficient at what it does. Yeah, some matchups are still like you can just completely run away with it by going first and then ramp Genie, Elsa, Demona sort of thing. Yes, I think Blurple is probably without question tier one. I would
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
say.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
What would you put up there with it?
yeah, I think still, although it runs a bit like people play it less, but I think it's still dogs.
Hmm.
I think the yeah, especially on the play, it's a very very strong deck. I think it can beat everything, and yeah, and then it's needs to see on the draw how it beats the matchups that they struggle with sometimes on the draw.
Mm.
But they are still capable of doing that. I think the Stitch version is just worse than the normal version in my opinion. I think it's too high rolly. The threats are just so much less for me than I mean these Stitches these are also bad cards, and I'm much more afraid if they go turn one Daisy than turn one this stupid one drop Stitch.
Yep.
Which does nothing. And yeah, it feels like less threatening to me. Although they can high roll, but even then you can sometimes recover. And if you answer the Stitch early, or how do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's like a bit more all in, isn't it? Really, where
Yeah.
yeah, the high rolls are higher, but
Hmm.
then you create this point of failure where if you do it and then your stitch is answered, you feel like at that point you have a much worse deck than a
Hmm.
standard dogs deck. So it's like way more explosive. If you were just playing against a room full of very average players to below average, you might just carve through it with the stitch version. But I
You also
think
need to,
in
to draw
terms
the
of
Stitch. That's really
yeah,
essential.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's completely does nothing basically if you don't draw the
Yeah.
Stitch.
And there are
So
lots of games where you don't, and
yeah.
you think, I wish I was just playing a sort of more standard dogs deck. Yeah, I think just a regular kind of dogs build is better.
And you would also
You know,
say it's
there.
like tier one, tier 1.5, or because some
Yeah,
people are
I
cutting it
put it.
off. I don't think it's completely cut it off.
Yeah, it feels like it's getting a bit discredited because it's one of these things that is like falling in popularity and prevalence on unnamed online testing platforms because people have experimented with it earlier and they've seen what it beats and what it doesn't beat. Now they moved on to looking at other things and trying to fine tune purple decks. I think it would be quite a mistake to assume that dogs doesn't exist or isn't tier one. Um, as I said in the past, like it's a remarkably skill intensive deck. It has a very
Mm,
high ceiling. If you are not prepared for a deck like dogs going into DLC, you're gonna have a rough time.
yeah, you're gonna
Pun
get crushed.
intended.
You get punished by not respecting it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, completely. You have to respect it. It's so linearly powerful. Like I have to put it in the conversation with Blurple. Like it's up there for me. I would easily have it alongside it. And yeah, do you think it's maybe like a slight shade below it if we're talking about very minor
Mm.
points between
Well,
them? But
that's
it's
always the
in
things where I think it's weird to go like really who's on top because it's so contextual to actually what the meta looks like in Ghent
absolutely.
or something. It's like not meaningless to like say, oh, this is a bit better than that. It's like it's so contextual to so many things actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, I
What's your
mean we're
next?
still in this. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Sorry, what's your next? What would you say? What your next pick is? Yeah.
Oof, it gets hard now.
Yeah.
I really, it gets tricky now.
I have some
After
actually.
after that, I have like a bunch of different purple decks that all feel quite close to each other. I
Hmm.
think I think that amber amethyst, purple steel, and green purple would make up the majority of my tier 1.5. I think they're all good decks. I think they're all very playable. Um, and I'm not sure how I differentiate between them in terms of like positioning, that sort of thing. I think they have to go a tier below Blurple because I think Blurple is just the best one, but they're not that far below. They're just kind of like together, chilling a level below. And there's some other stuff with them in my mind that also isn't far below that. What do you reckon is below Blurple and
Um,
Dogs? Or is there
yeah,
anything else
it's
tier one for you?
um, at least close tier one. Yeah, I think I've tested it quite a bit now. It's Ember Steel Aggro. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's very strong, and also something that isn't, yeah, that punishes you for not respecting it. I think um, the deck is capable of having a very good run yeah, in a DLC like environment. I don't think I also, while testing it, I actually like that it got way more depth in my opinion just by adding Nani into the deck, because and also the patches, because it's like, yeah, you have, it's really tricky even to play the deck. I think it's not, it's if you play the deck the first time, you have a lot of hard decisions, I can tell you, like Mulligan is hard with the deck because you play like over 20 uninkables in most lists, and you need to find the perfect, yeah how can I say, way how much you want to risk and stuff, and in the mulligan, and then yeah, you can ink the patches, but you could also play them, and you can ink them Nani and go full aggressive, or play a bit more like um yeah, to have a bit more gas then, but they are a bit slower. So it's really hard to pilot, I think, and a very good
Mm-hmm.
player is capable of having a good run. Depending the purple decks, it's hard for me to be not biased, because like
Yeah.
I'm so much into testing green purple, and I'm very high on it, extremely high on it, and I think for me it's clearly above the other two. If you ask me,
Okay.
but it's probably just me. If someone else tested a lot of amber purple or something, then they will say maybe they have, because they you could build amber purple in a way where you are really good into blurple. And I
Mm-hmm.
think blurple is in general a bit overrated, in my opinion. It's if you can build amber blue and amber purple in a way where you really, really have a really good win rate against that. And yeah, I think if you want to beat the bear deck, then it's actually quite doable. Cards like Horseman Strikes, for instance, is like really, really tough for them. And if you're also a grindy deck, then I think you can have builds but then the other matchups are the problem. Like, what do you do against dogs and
Mm.
stuff? And so, yeah, Blurple, uh, without question, before people misunderstand me, is clearly tier one. I just want to say, like, it's not like these completely unbeatable deck that sometimes it feels like. Um, yeah, and yeah, Purple Steel. I'm playing it very much because I liked it last set, and it feels like often like very fair. That's the problem for me. It's like sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it reaches maybe that's probably not true at all what I say now, but sometimes I feel it reaches a level of fairness which you maybe can't execute anymore in a meta game. But maybe I'm completely wrong, and that's totally reasonable. If the people would disagree with here, it's like completely completely true probably, and then I played it too less, or played the wrong builds or something. Um, yeah, it's just a feeling. I don't know. And then the big question mark in this meta is for me the Ember Blue.
Mm-hmm.
which I really can't evaluate. I played the deck too less myself. I could never play the deck because I get heart attacks if my opponent opens with a Daisy. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want that. So that's not a deck I would consider playing myself. But if you like play these four spooky builds, and then you really consistently have that on turn four, and then having also like this cauldron stuff and to grind out Blurple, I could imagine there's something that is actually quite really tier one if people work on it really, really much. How do you feel about that? I don't know.
I feel pretty much exactly the same as you do. It's
Yeah.
really hard for me to evaluate as well because it's not a deck for me. For the exact same reason it's not a deck for you. I hate having to fear like my opponent's turn one play. I like a deck that is flexible enough that it has game throughout the early and mid game. I would much rather play something like that where I'm afraid of getting outground super late than I am getting run over by I lose a dice roll and my opponent opens with a daisy and my tournament starts with a loss. So yeah, I struggle to evaluate it for that reason. From what I've seen, I think it's a very strong deck. I think it's certainly playable.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, when they just go ramp, Cindy, spooky, and then can't beat them. Saying that, I've played a fair amount of purple steel, and then they've done that to me where I just go one drop, two drop, Cheshire Cat or something, and then they spooky me, and then I just start like playing double genies in the turn. You
Mm-hmm.
just ramp me three, and
Yeah,
and then play a Demona and a Hades every turn,
yeah.
and just start outdrawing them. Um, it's a very cool deck. I'm really glad it exists. Yeah, I think it's also a great choice if you sort of feel like if you can play a deck and accept sort of one bad matchup and just hope to dodge it, and then use your competency with a control deck to outgrind many of the other mid-range things, then it's probably a pretty solid choice. We'll find out soon.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a look at the CCQ this weekend, and we'll have a look at the DLC, of course. That will really define how real this is. I know it has some strong supporters, and I think there's high potential in the deck. It's just like for me that gap of what happens if I can't protect my spooky against
Mm-hmm.
Mowgli and I just play against aggro. It feels a bit too. I mean, there are plenty of decks that can't beat one other deck's but good draw, if that makes sense. But for some
Yeah, but
reason, for
then
me, when it's a soft spot to aggro, I feel particularly unsafe. I feel like,
yeah, and
yeah, I'm
also
like you. I want to be able to do something before turn four,
yeah, and also
to
like
turn the game back in my advantage.
all the cards that you need are all uninkables. Like you have to run for spookies, then you need to run at least probably three raging storms or something, and you need to play Hades and Cindy's and stuff. So it comes like yeah. Still, the deck can feel very clunky for sure. I think, but yeah, maybe it's good enough. That's something other people have to find out than us.
Yeah, totally.
um, yeah, but that should just be just, or maybe have we forgotten something? I
Well,
think.
I was just like, one thing I wanted to bring up is that for the first time, because like most sets that we've had in the past haven't really like introduced entire new archetypes to the
Hmm.
metagame. It's just iterations on the past ones, and then relative power shifts a little bit. It feels like we've kind of, for the first time in as long as I can remember at least, we've kind of forgotten about a couple of good decks like blue green. I
Oh,
think
true. Yeah.
blue
Of
green
course.
blue green is just like
Yeah.
sleep. Blue green is
Yeah.
sleeping and watching what we're all
Yeah.
doing and
Yeah. Yeah.
watching the fact that we're all forgetting it even exists.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's still good. I'm really, really
Yeah.
convinced that
Yeah.
deck is
Yeah.
still good. And even like it has some additions. Like I've seen versions of it playing the 5-drop Chernobog because it
Hmm.
doesn't remove anything. It just ramps into that Chernobog.
Yeah.
A 5/4 that quests for 2 and is just clean removal on turn 4
Even with
is like
your welcome shuffles in,
incredible.
yeah, your welcome shuffles into the deck and not on the discard. So even the
Yep.
it's yeah, it's I totally agree. So dumb that we forget it. I know I get punished by that forgetting that deck.
Yeah, you really that's one for the listeners. You really can't forget about decks like that.
Yeah.
Everything that was good before is still good. We're now just like trying to think about the movements on top of that. So yeah, certainly green blue
And
will
probably
still
people
exist.
people like Pandemonium Heart or Fungus sitting at home thinking nobody talks about me and I crush everyone.
If you think about like how furious people were about blue green just a few weeks ago, and then like just then this tree came along that does like almost nothing, but it's really
Yeah.
good. But like this tree came along, and then everyone just forgot that there's this disgustingly powerful deck that just
That also
draws
crushed
5 at the end
Blurple.
of turn 4.
That
Yeah,
also
it
crushed
also has a
Blurple.
good
Yeah.
it has a good matchup into like what everyone is projecting to be the most played deck. It was the best deck and the highest performing deck of the last format and lost nothing and
Yep.
has only gained potential new tools. No one's talking about it at all, which is a huge plus point for playing it. Yeah, I really think that you're completely right. I bet if there is a secret blue green Discord, they are all sat in there and they're just in voice comms and it's just laughter. It's just no one can hear or say anything. It's just like 20 people crying, laughing into their microphone, thinking about how much they're going to
And
sweep
thinking about
what's coming up.
people playing the cauldron and stuff, and then I think, oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
god.
yeah. Watching someone playing Black Cauldron while they just like hold 4 copies of Baby Clarabelle and just go, ah, it's and like, hey, who guys, whose turn is it to tweet about the fact that blue green isn't good? And they're like, I'll do it now. Everyone, just the whole world. It's just we've got them all in the palm of our hand. They all think it doesn't exist. Man, I bet I would put good money on it making a deep run at the DLC. If
Yeah.
it's not on your radar, man, it better be because it really has slipped through the cracks somehow. And I still think it's a very, very good deck. If you're people are practicing Blurple as if green blue doesn't exist, or as if it's going to have like a 5% meta
Yeah,
share.
yeah, yeah. And playing cards like
They
Sven
are
and
in
stuff, and
yeah,
yeah,
they
yeah,
are in dangerous territory. They
yeah.
need to be real careful. Think about what they're doing because yeah, they could fall foul of that pretty easily.
Yep. And the only last deck that I could imagine is worth talking about, but we make it a more deep dive about like the meta in a few weeks before the
Yeah, let's do a full one next week
yeah.
before Ghent. We'll do a full breakdown.
And but Blue Steel is the only, but I think most people agree that it's probably not that good. And I mean, it has a good aggro matchup. And yeah, it's not completely dying to Blurple, but it's also not on the same power level, I think. I don't know. I don't even tested it too much.
Blue
Like the
Steel
regular.
has Blue Steel regularly has flashes of brilliance in the
Mm,
second to third week of a format when, first of all, people start doing proactive aggressive stuff because it's like the most linearly powerful thing to do with new cards. Until the answers get found, those decks are really good. Then Blue Steel just can go on a tear because it's like a very, very good, efficient anti-aggro deck. It does things like, like this the way people are playing Blue Steel now, they play the new Angel, and that just like shoots these decks dead basically.
yeah.
And it starts to look brilliant because if you were in an aggressively dominated metagame, like Blue Steel would be phenomenal. I think it's a very good deck. It's like I don't think it's bad at all. I just think that it presents like an answer to a fake week 1 metagame, which doesn't actually reflect what things will look like, and it tricks you into thinking like this is insanely tier 1, and then you realize actually it's just going to be mid-range battles again. Can I really keep up with these Raging Storm decks now? I mean, for me it's like a tier 2 deck still, but it certainly had it had a flash of brilliance while it was killing all the tree decks. But
No,
I
I would agree.
just
Yeah.
think you need you need to do a little more than that. It's not to say it's a bad deck at all. It's perfectly fine, very playable. But
Yeah,
yeah, maybe not the format savior that it looked like for a very brief moment of time.
yeah, it's probably the deck I'm the least interested in. I think it's it's so yeah. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't know why. I can't explain.
You're allowed to not like it.
Yeah,
Blue Steel players probably don't like your decks either, and that's
yeah.
fine.
I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm just making my people hate me.
Just making enemies.
Uh, I love you all. Let's move on. Um, yeah. So I think that sums it up for now. Um, yeah, but let's talk about now about some cards, and then yeah, we while talking about them, I think we go more into the detail how the meta looks like right now.
Yeah,
Let's start with our
cool.
underperformers. Which I'm gonna start with one card
Yeah,
that
go
came
ahead.
first into my mind, and that is Akut Imuti, or how's it
Yeah.
called? Yeah, I think that's probably for everyone underperforming card, like everyone, including me, saying this was the best card of the set or something before we actually got to play, and now it's like a fringe card. It's not unplayable, but it's like
No, it's not.
yeah, very very
It's
limited in its use cases, I would say.
yeah, for me it has like exactly one good deck, which is like a more mid-range Amber Steel songs type deck. Um that's the spot it belongs in for me, where you ramp, you play your Troubadour or Ursula and you sing it turn 3 to play a big 5-drop that's very board relevant, or you play a aerial and then boost it the same turn, ready to go on turn 3. That's it for me. Like,
Mm,
it's not a turn 2 genie card. It's You can do that, but it doesn't win games like you thought it would.
yeah, maybe on also on. That could also be a sleeper for me, by the way. Like one of these like Circle of Life type builds there with Four Under the Seas
For
and stuff.
sure.
I think that could someone if you completely work on that. I think there is maybe something there. I had a very
Yeah, there's
solid
a
win rate
deck.
with just my completely day one nonsense build, like and yeah, so I think there's probably something, and there it would also fit a bit. Um, yeah, but outside of that, yeah, you're totally true. You're totally right. Yeah,
I think we just kind of thought, well, this is free, isn't it? Look how look how you can just do anything,
yeah, yeah.
and just so many of
Exerting
the
exerting your singer is just more punishing
it's
than
yeah,
yeah.
really, like it really is. It's so much less free than it feels to sing anything at the moment.
Mm,
Um, which is kind of how I felt with Colors of the Wind as well, which is when I saw that card, I thought, oh, cool, it's a bit overcosted compared to Friends, but I'm going to go back to singing Friends essentially. No, it has not felt as good as that. So
yeah.
singing is a bit of an issue.
Also, when a card like Cheshire Cat is in like an every purple deck, like then you don't want to exert your
Exactly.
characters. Yeah, it's
How do you exert stuff into a Cheshire Cat, which is half the format or more? He's
yeah,
over
yeah,
50% of the format probably is Cheshire Cat decks.
yeah.
How do you exert a 3x card? You don't, unless it has evasive, which means it's purple as well, and you're playing a purple mirror. So welcome to the metagame.
Yeah. What is one of your underperformers?
I've chosen Mulan, Resourceful Recruit,
Yes, I have that
the
too.
super
Yeah.
rare Mulan. Yeah. Again, you look at this, you think, wow, that's a 2-drop that's going to quest for 6. I'm just going to tramp this and do that. Um, you can do that, and I've seen it happen, and it's been good, and I've watched it not win games as well. I don't really know what to say more than that. Like, it just isn't as explosive as it needs to be. It just, which is crazy for what it can do, but it's only good in conjunction with other cards. It comes at the wrong time. It gets inked a lot. It's
Yeah, and
just,
then you have like,
mm,
especially in these dog type builds, yeah, if you see like how their game plan develops, or how it gets executed. You have like this tramp on turn 3 to 4, and after the tramp you have like 2 or 1 cards in your hand. Then this card, you can choose it to be, yeah, you cannot really choose, but somehow you can choose it to be like Shift Lady, which is very strong, or you can choose it to be like this tramp, which does nothing. Then letting your, yeah, I mean nothing is so weird, but then letting your Mulan quest for six, it sounds so weird. The question for 6 is much, and sometimes it wins you the game for sure. That's not what I want to
Yeah.
say, but sometimes you also still, if you can do that, you still need to use the tramp to actually trade.
Hmm.
Because yeah, and then this Mulan is so below rate, especially in dogs, because a 2 cost character, the quest for 1, is so below everything that this deck can do.
Mm.
So in any other case, this is so terrible, and you never want to play it actually, because your turn 2 is either 2 1-drops or 3 plus 1-drop. And if you don't do that, you're doing a very lower, less strong game plan, and
Yep.
this dog stacks needs to do that. And yeah, so you can't play that on turn 2 basically, Mulan. So you need to play it later.
Hmm.
And then when, yeah, you have this tramp, and then what do you keep with the tramp? You need to keep a Mulan and the tramp that buffs it. So it gets weird, that's only the good cases for Mulan, and the bad cases are so often. Yeah. So actually, that just to sum it up, it just doesn't fit into the game plan of dogs.
No.
And other decks, really hard. I mean, there are not much other green decks existing. It's basically green purple, and that deck doesn't need it as well. So yeah,
Hmm.
um, hard.
Yeah. It's hard to sort of put across why it's underperforming when you speak about it that way. Like,
Yeah,
well,
it's weird.
it's doing the thing that people wanted to do, which is questing for 6. And also questing for 6 with a 2-drop is objectively amazing. Inside of the play patterns, though, inside of the ways you're often forced to use Tramp, the fact that this doesn't come down at the time you want it to, because it's not part of that core curve out, it just doesn't fit. It just does. It feels like a spare part when these decks, the space is at such a premium. Yeah, it's just not really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not high on it at all.
I mean,
It underperformed for me.
yeah, I mean, I could still see some, like, if we have a dogs winning like a big tournament and there are 1 or 2 Mulans in the deck, I wouldn't be too surprised or something.
No,
But it's like,
it's not a 4 of. I'll say that.
yeah, that's not. But I think 1 or 2 copies, and you can sneak out some wins sometimes that you can't or something. Or maybe we are maybe undervaluating it, but that's just my experience with the card. Yeah, yeah. For me, another card that was very disappointing, but I think has hopes for the future is Pocahontas, the shift one. I
It's on my
feel,
list as well. I was
yeah,
starting to think we've got the exact same
yeah,
lists.
maybe. The problem is, what I found out again with these cards like that require to shift, it's so limiting their use cases. I don't like their design philosophy, by the way. I don't like that, because if these cards are good with this restriction on shifting, then they must be so oppressive, and that leads to high roll, extraordinary high roll. Because if these cards are then good enough, still, even if you need to shift it, then these cards must be so oppressive, like Diablo shift like situations. Then um, I think the design. I don't like that design, or actually, that restricts you. But if we get a 1-drop Pocahontas, it's still not a bad effect. And I won a lot of games actually, but it's still like too rare that it comes up. And
Yeah,
yeah, I don't like the restriction of shifting it at all. Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you. Actually in the past For people that have listened a lot, they probably will remember me saying this. I said the opposite. I said that I actually really liked that as design space, but
Hmm.
the point you make, I think, is completely true, and my mind has changed on it. If you're having something which is only its own, there are conditions to meet before it can happen.
Hmm.
Like you have to assemble Exodia in the right
Yeah,
order.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It has to win the game,
yeah,
right? Like you don't
yeah,
completely warp your decision making to do something sort of mid.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
It's either busted or unplayable, and
yeah,
yeah, I think that is where this only when shifted
yeah, yeah,
exists in a design space, sadly, because it is a really cool idea. It's a really cool way of balancing some of these effects, but I just think it makes it, yeah, it's really
yeah.
tough to make it good enough without being too good.
Especially when the card is so below rate, if you don't have the condition,
Exactly.
you could like design the cards a bit like differently that you get a benefit if you shift it, but it still does something when it doesn't get shifted. So yeah, but yeah, that's that.
Cool.
I have one more card. Do you have another card in
Yeah,
underperforming?
I got one more as well. Yeah.
What's yours?
Should I do one?
Yeah.
Moana.
The
I
5-drop
think,
Moana. Yeah,
yeah,
I thought about it. Yeah, okay. Tell me your insights.
it's like it's fine. It's a playable card, but it's like one of the most hyped legendaries of the set, and I think it's very mid. I think it is just like most of the time when I've seen it, what it does is
Nothing.
it pseudo draws a card in
Yeah.
the form of inking, and then dies the next turn to a raging storm because they go Cindy, they Cindy up to 6 ink, then they play their
Moana.
Moana ink from discard up to
Yeah.
7, and the next turn they quest for 2 and raff the board, and you're like, okay, cool, no more Moana. It's very like it's a totally playable card, and like decks need playable, like they need playable decent sized bodies that are pseudo card draw um in them. But for like a marquee legendary of the set, this is so mid. It's just so like
Yeah.
the like the price level it's at, the level of hype around it, it doesn't is not warranted. It's a very mid filler card that
Yeah.
is meh. It's whatever. It's just like it could have been an uncommon, I think.
Yeah. I think because I didn't have it in my underperforming, I think I was very happy how I evaluated it because I thought it's like kind of playable, but I never thought it's really good. People say, oh, it's pseudo quadra, but actually, in the meanwhile, you can play a lot of cards on turn 5, which draw you a card basically.
You could have actual card draw.
Yeah.
Like
And yeah, so I don't think that's like busted or something.
no,
Also, it is not card draw. It is really not card draw. It's not the same. If
no,
you
it's
if you
not.
if you have that in the end game, you are not happy about that because you want to draw cards and not adding the 14th ink into your inkwell. So
Yeah, when you top deck it's very different. Draw a card versus put a sail from your discard into your inkwell is a really different effect on like turn 12 of the
yeah.
game.
So it's for sure less good than drawing a card.
Mm,
But that's still fine. And actually, the if Cindy wouldn't exist, the card would be really unplayable, I think. And but that
yeah, I
curve in
think so.
actually is quite decent,
It is good.
but nothing that scares people. I think even Cindy still. I don't know. People still calling me crazy, maybe, but I think still is the same for me. I think Cindy is okay,
Mm.
and I'm not like blown away. I never like really afraid when I see the card, and I don't know, yeah, but I know that I'm
I mean, I know where you're coming from. I do think Cindy is an incredible card, but yeah, like that.
uninkable makes has
That's
so
the
much
big.
worse.
Yeah,
It's really
it does. It does.
it's yeah it's yeah
That's
I
completely
still
fair,
think,
and I
and
think
that's my statement, and then we will never talk about Cindy again.
sure.
If there would be an uncommon, yeah, an uncommon
Mm.
card which is inkable and has the Donald Duck effect, it would be played more than Cindy because
Yes,
you can,
that would be better. Yeah.
yeah, and that would be an uncommon, and nobody gets crazy about her. But yeah, okay, that's the last time we talk about that card.
Yeah, that's the specific use case for Moana where it looks really good. Just immediately curved after a Cindy,
Yeah,
of course.
that's true.
You know, it is really good to get to sail again for nothing. It's just like if it was much better, it would be a really like it could potentially be oppressive on curve after Cindy. But
Hmm.
I just think it's such a medium, unexciting card for a marquee legendary. I think.
Yeah,
Um, not to say it's bad, very playable, but
yeah.
like if the community at large puts something in its like top one, top two most hyped legendaries in a set, it had better do something more impactful than what Moana's doing. I think.
Yes. And now we come. Ah, no, my last underperforming card, but that's just basically the color in general. And that's Grab Your
Mm-hmm.
Bow. Not
Mm,
because I think the card is bad, and but it's maybe like just a symptom or something like for Ruby in general that I think decks that revolve around playing that card are probably still not good enough in the meta. I
mm,
think in general for the whole matchup spread, for everything. I mean, you have grab your bow into your deck in your deck then against decks like Amber Blue or Green Blue or something, and does nothing. And so yeah, for the whole matchup spread, I don't think the card is very good. But I was doubting it at first already. So um, yeah, it's probably the color and not the card in itself. Like, but I think if Ruby wants to be like a top performing color, it needs more inkable cards that do something. The Horseman is the same. Like, it's a good card, but it's only specific in these Genie Wars where it really shines.
mm,
And then in other situations, yeah, I know it's against aggro also good. But it's also, if you compare it to the past, where cards like Medusa and Tremaine exist, which was so more versatile than a horseman, then yeah, it's
mm-hmm.
just so much worse, I think,
Yeah,
than the ladies in the past, for
very.
instance. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very different proposition, isn't it? And I think, yeah, I'm completely with you. I didn't have that on my list, but we had reasonably high hopes for Ruby. I think Ruby Amber can be a deck that's still playable and has probably a great build of it to be found, but it's not going to be contesting for tier one. It's like a tier two deck, and it's there in the middle of the pack, which is like, yeah, once again, we're here looking at Ruby and thinking if it disappeared entirely from the game, the metagame wouldn't change much at all, which is what you said to me earlier, and I thought that's a very good way of putting it. If someone just deleted Ruby from the database, um, the the picture of what the game looks like at the moment would shift a very, very small amount.
Yeah, and it's not just it just needs this like really crazy good card. Like if
Yeah.
you would print grab your ball like inkable, then I would say okay, now you're able to crush these decks that you want to crush, but still are not a complete pile of bricks in your deck,
Hmm.
and you actually got a really overpowered card. And some decks have overpowered cards, and it's okay for the game. So it wouldn't hurt if Ruby gets also an overpowered card that's not uninkable. All these cards,
Yeah.
also like Hercules and stuff, they are all good cards in situations sometimes, but it's so you can't make them all uninkable. And then
I feel
yeah,
like I've seen this arc play out before with Emerald. In remember Emerald in
yeah.
like sets one, two, like sets one and two going up to three was just like this stack of uninkable cards,
Oh yeah,
and
Cusco and stuff.
eventually that color really came into its own. So maybe we're like poised for the Ruby comeback, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like yes, inkable grab your bow would be very, very good, but like so is Cheshire Cat, and that exists
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
format.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actively ruining the game, and but it's not bannable. So what are we really doing here? Like, I think there's scope to give them a bit more,
Yeah.
in terms of power level. Let them have some broken toys for a bit. Like, give
Even
us a ghost of a chance of bringing the color back.
even some so unspectacular cards like Brawl or something could change massively, like some
Yeah.
things where you have answers to, like the Tramp or something,
Hmm.
and still with a very consistent card, and not like, yeah, I can only repeat like this Giga Bricks in so many ways. Yeah.
I mean, I said it at the time, and I still believe this. I've had people like I get it. If you don't agree with this opinion, totally fine. I am like astounded that Brawl wasn't reprinted in Fabled. Brawl is like to
Yeah.
me like the most card like it should
It's
just
like
be
Fire the
evergreen.
Cannons, yeah. It's like fire,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it. I don't know. Like it's if you just take your turn 3 off to remove something,
yeah,
then it's completely fine. Like what? I don't know. It's so not a broken card. It's like the most innocuous thing ever. That's a really important balancing
yeah.
factor for the game to stop cards like Tramp going completely crazy.
But I was more surprised about B-Prep not being reprinted actually, because I thought that's a,
And that
like
was
a
also shocking, but
identity, like. But maybe we should have just learned to learn Ruby's new identity. But can you please tell us which is the new identity? Thank you.
yeah, as far as I can tell, it's like the characters all have reckless and they're overstated, but it doesn't matter because they don't have evasive.
Yeah, they have some aggressive um like lines which are decent, like Diablo into Sisu.
Yeah, they
That's
got a Diablo that quests for 2.
yeah, and that's it.
What more do you want?
Yeah, let's hope for better. For better. We feel with you, dear Ruby players. Yeah.
Yeah, Amber got the love this set. Let's hope. Let's cross our fingers for a Ruby comeback next set, and then we can have a truly diverse format. I think.
Yes. So let's move to the overperformers. I think we both
Mm,
start. I think I just start now because it's so obvious and it's the tree. I think we don't
yeah.
need to talk about much about this card. I don't. We
Yep.
already talked about it so much. I think everybody knows that this card is broken. It's also pseudo card draw, you can say, because a lot of these decks that play the tree don't need to ink sometimes anymore,
No, just
because
stop
you
inking.
yeah,
Yep.
you can play Onani or Tiana and stuff, and you actually can stay sometimes at 2 ink.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't think this card needs
Yeah,
further.
super good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like as game breaking as people who were scared of it being, but it's certainly like it's a standout for of in enabling some of the best, well, enabling the best aggressive openings in the game. So
Yeah.
it's got to be here. It's a major force in the metagame for sure.
Yes. Uh,
Um, I have Genie, 3 cost Genie.
mm-hmm.
In my overperformers, it was something that this is the boost one gets +1 law
Mm-hmm.
for each time it's boosted. It was in my interesting cards, like going into the set. I think it's a good deal better than I thought it was at first. This thing just is a clock on its own. It has cool synergies with like 2 cost Pocahontas and stuff like that. It's as a boost one, like anything with boost one, as I've said before, just creates can be a card draw engine in its own right, bounced with things like Olaf and Mother Knows Best, that sort of thing. That has been more relevant than I thought it would be. Yeah, I'm high on the card. I think it's very good,
Yeah.
and I
I
think it
think it's at
just
least.
gives.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say it gives like an extra. One of the things that these 3 drops, these 3 drops in the purple decks are so good. They're all so good at like, fighting for space, especially in decks like Purple Steel. There's like 6 different playable 3 drops. Um, it's something which is well statted enough that it still adds relevant presence to the board while also like representing a really strong clock in itself and giving you a great ink sync for any sort of wonky turns that come after that.
Yeah. I think it's at least a very solid card. I mean,
Hmm.
you're doing nothing wrong really to include some copies of that. We'll have for sure times where it shines. Yeah. For me, the first card I actually was surprised was Angel, the 4-drop
Yep.
Angel. When this card got revealed, I thought this is incredible mid, and it still is. It's. I mean, it's like a. I think the card in a vacuum is. Imagine like formats like pre-rotation, and I don't think that card would be playable at all. But I think, yeah, it's a role player. It's not good in every matchup, and it's enabling you to crush aggro in a way where they really can't play the game sometimes.
Hmm.
And that's probably good enough for an inkable card. And yeah, so it will see play. Um,
Yep. Completely agree. It's on my list as well.
yeah,
You,
I'm still not
you know where
super
the
high on it.
no, I'm not.
It's okay, but it's also like no matter where you play the card, it's probably your most inked card or one of the most inked cards in your deck.
Yeah, gotta be.
Yeah.
But it can like solo. It can solo some matchups basically. Like if you're a blue steel deck playing it on turn 3 against some of this aggressive stuff, or if
Mm,
you're a purple steel deck playing it a little later on when you can like keep refueling through demoners and docks and stuff, this will just go nuts against more aggressive decks, even against like some things that just play a few smaller things like green purple or purple
mhm.
steel, that sort of thing. Um, One deck that gets absolutely smoked by Angel is green purple burn. So I played some green purple burn
Oh, okay. Yeah.
when it started to look like a heavy blurple format. I was like, fair enough, I'll just gathering you. I'll try to play some green purple burn and see what happens. And it, as predicted, it was fantastic for crushing blurple. When you play against an Angel, every time you activate Amethyst Chromacon, you give your opponent a 0 cost fire the cannons,
Yeah.
and what you draw is a character that dies to fire the cannons.
Yeah, that's
I couldn't tell you any time that a single card in play made me feel like this game is over. So we both draw. Your card gets thrown at mine. It's dead. You quest for 6. I'm like, excellent. Um, yeah, that is if you're considering playing green purple burn to take out to go to go way under all of the blurple, do consider that you can pretty much die solo to a single angel. It is real bad news for you.
yeah, that's actually funny. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Um, yeah, yeah, I think yeah, at least, and that makes the card good enough. So if it would be uninkable, it would be probably unplayable. But it's like that. It's like this
Mm,
inkable card that you have to crush some matchups. Makes a playable for sure.
yeah.
Yes.
Um, the next one on my list is the legendary Wreck-It Ralph, and not
Oh.
because yeah, not because I think this is like a busted card, like a secretly a busted card, but no one really had any interest in playing this at all. And I've seen it do good things in a couple of decks. I've seen red purple builds with this in. I've seen a red blue items deck that uses Lonely Grave to banish their own Ralph for one sided board wipe. And yeah, not it's not in my overperformance because I think it's like going to be a metagame staple, but I actually think it's one of the more playable legendaries. Like if you open a bunch of these, there's a chance they come out of your binder. That's not true for every legendary.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true. Yeah.
there's there's an actual like a number of solid use cases for this Ralph. I think it's a better deck, a better card than it's getting credit for. And I wouldn't be surprised to like see someone do something cool with it at some point. I don't really need to analyze it any more than that. It's just like this is
Yeah, it's
very
still
slept on. It's super cheap, but there are really cool things that are actually at least semi-viable that can be done with this Ralph.
yeah, it's still like I still don't. It's not meant to be flaming that much, but it's like I still don't get the design for solo philosophy sometimes. So they don't want to have B prep back, but then they say, okay, last set we print like a one-sided B prep that you need to high roll. Okay, we don't want B prep, but we make something even more oppressive. But you need to high roll that because it's a 2-card combo, and now Ruby gets like such a downgraded B prep yeah, it's a bit sad for me. But I agree. I think I could see metas where it's like where it could see if there are enough combo pieces and stuff. A board wipe is a strong effect, yeah. It's always a strong effect. So if you're enabling that, then card is probably good enough. Yeah.
There's some. I really think it will do something at some point over the next couple of sets at least. So
It's also cool
for
that
me,
it
it's an
quests for 3.
overperformer just because it was.
Some
It's
nonsense, basically.
which
So,
it's
yeah, I
really
mean, it's
relevant.
oh,
I've
really?
played some with it,
Yeah,
and
okay.
yeah.
So you quest first and then banish it, you meant, or what do you mean? And then,
No, it's really good. If you're ahead, it's still good because it
yeah,
just
okay,
is this
okay.
fat quester
Yeah,
that
okay, okay.
if they challenge into it, they lose their board.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, I understand, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, true,
it's
yeah, you can also play a quest with it and your opponent don't want to banish it. Yeah, okay, yeah. I
yeah,
see.
it's not as it's underrated basically. It's
Yeah,
a little slept on.
I
It
can see
has
that.
some use cases. What's your next one?
My next one is, I mean, that's probably, yeah, not very controversial. But Raging Storm, I thought it's like less playable than I actually think it is. I think a lot of Ember decks can play it, and I thought this card could end up being maybe even completely unplayable in a format that fast and stuff. And the card is actually quite playable, and I can, yeah, blue Ember for sure, and like even like purple Ember could run 1 or 2 copies and yeah, make the card do its things, and it's not too late than I thought it is. It's often like early enough, especially against decks like Purple Seal or something. You feel really bad if you play against a card. You quest not fast enough to kill them before the Raging Storm, and then you have a hard time to refill and stuff. So I think the card is overperforming for me. Although I think still it's sad that it's such a downgraded B prep. But yeah, I think the card is better performing than I thought it would be. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I agree. It's
Yeah,
I've seen more out of it than I expected to, and I think
yeah.
it's very playable card. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
have you another one?
Um. Yeah, my next one is. This seems kind of weird because it was highly evaluated early, but Steel Lilo bundled up.
Yeah,
I
no, I think
think
that's really accurate. Yeah,
is crazy good,
yeah.
and obviously the rules change helps it. Like
Mm-hmm.
the initial evaluations of that card were made like people deemed it to be good even when you could just move damage onto it
Yeah,
with Cheshire Cat. Now that only pops the shield, it's just even better.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Card is very good.
it's wildly good, and I think it's probably playable in decks beyond just Amber Steel aggro.
Mm-hmm.
It probably can be squeezed into some other like there's room to play a more aggressive purple steel build. There are certainly things like this is a standout for me. If you
Also,
play anything with like a bit of removal in it and where you kind of keep your opponent on one character, this just feels like it's
yeah, yeah.
permanently unkillable. Yeah, it's great. It's very, very good.
Also, in context of this set, where we also got patch printed,
Mm,
makes it even makes her even stronger because that she's a Lilo actually means something. It's not
yep.
like yeah, very strong card. I really agree. Yeah.
Yep.
Another card, which I think, yeah, it's obvious, it's Pete. I think many
Yep.
slept on the card. I mean, when I first saw the card, I think it's one of the first cards revealed. I think, yeah, this is not too bad. I think, yeah, it draws a card if it sticks. And then I'm still not sure how the card will develop going forward because it's one of these cards that fulfill no certain role, but yeah, just it's so stupid to say, but just makes your deck more powerful. But it's like it has no. You don't play this card for the dogs matchup. You don't play this
No,
exactly
exactly.
for the mirror. It's good in the mirror, but it's like, yeah, I don't like the mirror break or something. Yeah, it's a good card in nearly any matchup, but it's not. It fulfills no real role, and that's something. Sometimes a killing argument for a card. Sometimes if you need to fill your decks with cards that actually fulfill a certain role into a specific matchup. I don't know. Maybe I'm too low. I think the card is strong. I don't know. I just don't know how the card will develop. I don't know how you see it.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good observation. I think is like these things that are just like generally fine, and they tend to be bulky bodies that draw cards, like
Yeah.
Pete, or just yeah, like Pete and Hades is one as well. Like
Mhm.
if you're a bit ahead, if you're a little bit ahead, they feel really really good.
Mhm.
Occasionally they feel bad when you're behind.
Mhm.
Um, they are very powerful and they are also sort of permanently on the chopping block because you might need situational tools that
Mhm.
are a specific response to different situations. Instead, deck slots do come at a premium. I'm also really high on Pete. I think anything with boost one in this kind of let it go into the unknown Hades driven metagame is very, very good. I think often like Pete demand is one of those things that demands to be answered and often will net you +2 ink when it is answered, which is very good. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said for just putting a 5/5 into play on
Yeah,
turn
of
four in
course.
some matchups. I think that its body is way underrated, and people just seem to be looking at this like it's a draw engine. Like I've seen it compared to the Amethyst Queen, that exerts to draw a card, the five
Yeah,
drop four
that's so
five.
much better.
It's way better than that card, I
People, and
think.
and I answered to that. I think it was Chuck who said that, and I just answered it because I really think it's sometimes undervalued because you need to exert the queen, yeah, and for
Hmm.
the Pete he quests. So it sounds really as a stupid argument, but it is really that you get the lore from the quest. It's
Hmm.
much more threatening that you get the lore. That's the same with Isma sometimes. When you play Isma, it really hurts that you don't get lore with the Isma, so you just draw
Yeah,
the card. It's so much less threatening than if you just exert your queen every turn. Then also with Pete, you always get the lore, and then you need to answer it because yeah, they just chip damage them up to 20, and it's a really difference that you get the lore. I don't think that you can't compete a card for power level. It's so much better in my opinion.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you see that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you have to quest to win games.
Yeah.
Or like you don't win the game by reaching 20 cards in hand, do you? You just
Yeah.
you have to.
I think
Yeah,
yeah, I think you're in a really good spot if you reach 20 lore in the game.
that is I would say in like at least 90% of games I play, I'm always thinking, how do I reach 20 lore? I'm always
And the other 10% are how do I throw my PC now out of the window? That's
Yeah,
the
the
other
other
10.
10% is I'm thinking, I wonder how offensive you can be about players of a specific deck when you have a podcast. Because I have stuff to say that I feel like I will lose content creator privileges if I do say. And then it's me just sort of like walking through the rain. Yeah, that's what's going on the other 10% of the time.
Yeah. So Pete is strong for sure. And
Yeah, I like it. I'm a big fan.
yeah, the only one other card. No, actually two cards. Do you have other cards left?
Yeah, I have one or two. Yeah, I have two.
Yeah, I think it's your turn now. I
Um,
said Pete.
yeah, okay. Sven. I
Yeah,
like the evasive
I have
Sven.
Sven
I
too. Yeah.
think this was. I was not particular. I wasn't as high on it as I should have been initially. It overperformed for me. I think. Yeah, very good card in conjunction. We showed it in some green purple builds. Very good in conjunction with Snowfort, that sort of thing. Um, yeah, I mean, an evasive rush character. Sometimes you need your 4 drop to do something immediately. Like you need your 4 drop to impact the board state right away, which is not something a lot of those purple 4 drops do. I think just another evasive to draw cards with Dumbo as well. It's solid card. I'm a fan of Sven.
Yeah, I mean it's at least decent, and if it's playable, it's probably always like this 59th or 60th card you add to your into your deck.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
but it's okay, and it helps you sometimes recover and stuff. It's probably will not last very long. Being playable, I think that's a card
No,
that
I mean
can be outclassed very easily. I think by
I mean
other
there are
stuff. Yeah.
situations like early on in the set when you're still trying to kind of establish how you beat the aggro decks and stuff. It starts to feel very good because if you're constantly finding yourself getting daisied on turn one, well, when your turn three is Sven rather than Genie,
Yeah,
you're really happy.
yeah,
When it immediately banishes a daisy, you start to think, well, this is a 4-of, isn't it?
yeah.
um, it isn't a lot of the time. It's not a 4-of a lot of the time,
If you
but
play against
it's
blue yellow or like green blue or something, it's the worst card in your deck for sure, and it's uninkable. So it's like, yeah, needs to be
yeah.
like,
One of my favorite things to do in testing green purple was like my favorite 8 ink turn was Sven plus Gogo
yeah,
into a
that's
Surfer
nice.
Stitch just from hand. Just smack your Surfer for 5, gain 5. Let's go next game.
The only other cool
That's been
thing,
pretty good.
the other best thing I can do is like um, pretending I'm stupid and quest with my stuff into an
Mm.
Surfer Stitch. And then, oh, I'm so
Yep.
clever. I do Surfer Stitch and make Warner draw 7 cards. And then I play Clarabelle and they have to
Yep.
complete. And then they cry. And I need only 2 more lore. And then good luck preventing me from 2 more lore in this game. Yeah. Yeah, but Sven is good for sure.
Yep.
And my last card, that's probably the most obvious one. No, not most obvious, but Snowford for sure, I think is undoubtedly for a lot of people like overperforming the set. It is, I think it snowballs game sometimes alone, and it's for sure a card. If you don't respect it, you get punished by the card. It changes a lot of maths. It is often not too slow than I thought it would be, and I'm crazy high on the card. If you play in a tournament, you need to prepare for decks that have the card into your deck, I think. And that's
Hmm.
really, really bad for me saying that. I hope you appreciate these listeners that I say that because I could just say the card is stupidly bad. Don't play. But I don't think you need like item removal or something, but you need to have like ideas how to beat board states where your opponent have like 2 snowforts in play or something.
You need to be ready to like calculate combat math with the Snowfort in
Yeah,
play,
yeah.
basically.
That's yeah.
So that you're not making trades, then asking your opponent to take it back, then doing it again, and taking it back, and having a 10-minute turn because you just kept on sending a genie to its death. Which I mean, I'm pretty sure that is like allowed within the rules now. But
Yeah,
like, try to
sadly.
prep for calculate. Sadly, it's
Yeah.
allowed to take that back because like I'm allowing takebacks all the time. Like any time that a takeback would be allowed in an actual game, I'm doing the same in my practice games. Um, and every time it happens, I'm like, oh no, no! They walked right into that. They lost their character. I really want to just make it be dead, but I can't do that because it would never be upheld in an actual tournament. Um, yeah, the biggest
Yeah,
nerf to Snowfall really is that rules change.
yeah, but I think no matter how it develops, I think the card is overperforming the expectations by a lot
For
of
sure,
people.
for sure.
Um, but it's reasonable. I think it never really had we never had really an item that's like a board centered item board. It's such a weird card. I think it's such a unique
It's
card.
weird in a very good way.
And it's actually crazy that it's a fort, but it's not a location. That's also funny, Why is it not a location actually? It's yeah, but it's for sure strong. Yeah, you can quest with your stuff. You play this, you can quest basically with everything the whole time.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and the only other card or cards I just want to short mention or talk with you about is like, what do you think about the underdogs cards? I think
Mm.
they are a good addition. I think still they could be even a bit better, and you still wouldn't suddenly want to go second. I think they
Yep.
need to be crazy, crazy good to that you don't want to go first. So I think, like, if they would count for even
I don't think the game wants that. By the way, I don't think they. I don't think it's good to make things that make everyone choose to go second on the dice roll
no,
because underdog stuff is so powerful.
not choose, but I think you can still smooth that out a bit, and people would be more happy, I think. But yeah, that's controversial. I think they could still like do that, like you can still do that on turn two. So you could go on turn two. I thought about like if it would still count on turn two, then you could go like turn one Christopher Robin, turn two Christopher Robins on the draw for
Yep.
something like that. I think that would be a cool line on the draw to sometimes to sometimes steal some games that are not winnable on the draw because on the play is still like so powerful in this game. Um, but yeah, I don't know how you feel about the Underdogs card. Do you think they are good enough, even, or yeah,
I think. I think I like. Certainly, my evaluations of which ones were best was kind of wrong. I think Christopher Robin is the best one now. I think he's
yeah,
better than Angel.
one of the best for
Or
sure.
maybe I'm just like maybe I'm just not interested in playing the decks to have Angel in because Angel's still really good in that Amber Steel more song based deck, which is like a solid tier two contender, which a few players will probably push significantly higher than that. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
in the vacuum, I think the green one is the best, I would say. But it depends on the decks which would play the card, and yeah, but Crystal Robin is also very
It's
good.
hard to
Yeah, and
say.
yeah,
I like Christopher Robin. I think I prefer that to some of the other ones for sure.
yeah,
That's
that's
he's my
reasonable.
favorite, and yeah,
And
he's
yeah,
definitely more playable than I thought.
yeah. Okay. I have like also made some cards from last sets, but I don't have much, which are
No, I
better
don't
than
have many. I think we should let's go through them quickly.
yeah. Luis, for instance, is I think better this set than
Yep,
last sets, especially
that's
with
on
cards
mine.
like Snowford. And yeah, punishes aggro. Sometimes when Luis decides the game very much, very fast.
Yep.
Also one card, and you will call me crazy now, yeah, because you think how stupid are you, Otterbugs? You have no clue about the game at all, yeah. You never analyze cards right, and but I didn't play that much last set, yeah. And I won a set championship and won two locals. I went three tournaments, yeah, and I won one set championship and two locals. And then I thought, and I actually because I didn't possess them, yeah, I had no Cheshire cats, yeah. Um, and last set I thought, and I won like 4 or 5 mirrors, and I just played Bell instead of Cheshire Cat, yeah.
Mm.
And I thought like, "Hmm, yeah, maybe the card is not too good or so. I don't know. And I know that's this set I completely changed my mind, but I feel like this set is even more impressive. The Cheshire Cat. I don't know. Maybe it's like, but then because like really in these tournaments I didn't miss that. I somehow I played sometimes a Bell and sometimes I played a 4/4 on turn three and they played a Cheshire Cat and then I thought okay and I don't know. It feels this set so crazy with Cheshire Cat.
Yeah,
I
it is
I
crazy.
I I can't remember that from last set, but I didn't play too much last set. I have to admit that.
I mean, I
But
think there's a really valid point there. I do think it's even better than it was. I think
yeah.
like the environment because Willow has kind of pushed those more aggressive decks back into relevance, which it
Hmm.
felt like they'd kind of fallen out of a little bit. Dogs was still, around and doing good things.
And the card was
it
very bad
feels
into
like,
green blue. Like into green blue, the card does basically
yeah, sure,
nothing. So yeah, yeah.
yeah. Just another reason why green blue is like secretly just going to win everything. It really is. Like, it really, really, really is going to win everything. It's crazy. Just wake up, everyone.
And yeah, so I really experienced that for the first time, the oppression of Cheshire Cat. Actually, I didn't have that feeling last set. Um, but yeah, that's just that what I experienced
Yeah,
in playtesting. I think it's the best card of the game actually, and
yeah, it is. Yeah, I
sometimes
agree.
I even wondering why it is so strong, because sometimes I think paying two for it's not even, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's sometimes hard to evaluate for me why it is so strong. Then you say, okay, it's obvious, it's repeatable and stuff, but it's like we have a lot of repeatable stuff. Well, we have not so much repeatable stuff.
I mean, it's like one of those things where it's almost a self-fulfilling. Like it's in virtue of being a good purple card, it makes itself an amazing card because if it's good and lots of people are playing purple, well, they all play the deck with genies and stuff in it,
Yeah,
and the existence of Cheshire Cat means you can, you know, if your opponent has one in play at any point, like they can just Elsa and hit your genie and then shift the damage to kill your genie, that sort of thing. Like I think it throws the math of the evasive wars off so much
yeah,
that it creates this parasitic purple eats purple environment. And yeah, just like I don't know. I mean, obviously it's great for taking out the small things like Willow
yeah.
and for taking out Calhouns and things like that. And you there are plenty of things which just straight up die to a shifted two damage. But yeah, it's really in how much it messes up
Yeah,
your ability. Like it freezes the board so well
yeah,
because it makes all the combat math completely warped. It shifts the evasive wars so much, and also it's an incredible anti-aggro tool. It's also a pseudo card draw engine when paired with bounce stuff.
hmm
It's it's wild.
That's
It's a cracked card. It's the most powerful card in the game for me, in my opinion. I think it's the most certainly the most influential card in the
yeah,
game.
that's
I
true.
can't imagine any deck that plays that color not playing four of it.
Yeah, I mean, Elsa, you could also make arguments for something,
Yeah,
but yeah,
Elsa's up there. She's in the
yeah,
conversation as well. There's a package of about 20 purple cards which honestly need a good hard look because they are insane.
yeah,
That it's like almost like occasionally when choosing a deck, it feels like okay, which supporting package do I want around this purple core? Do I want to ramp into it? Do I want to play Horseman Strikes with it? Um, yeah, pick your poison. It's just yeah, or do I want strength with it? It's
yeah,
just yeah, it's by far and away the most powerful like core package in the game. So for all the crying I'm doing about how good green blue is secretly going to be, nothing compares to the relative power level of that purple core. It's
yeah,
crazy. It's so good.
that's true. Okay, then I have only just one or two, like, yeah, I mean, the stitches, both stitches are getting, like the Surfer Stitch and then the Rockstar Stitch are both better this set.
Yep, they're both back a little bit.
And Spooky
I
Side
also
also better, I think this set.
yeah, I also had it's kind of just an extension of Lewis, but I also had the 6 cost John Silver on my
Hmm
list for like performing very well again. I think just in general, Reckless is very good right now because it's obviously super good at stopping decks like Amber Steel from getting over the finish line. A repeatable effect like that on John Silver. It's also very, very good into cards like Pete that do
hmm
have to quest to get their card. Now, when you get when your Pete gets reckless, you really do start to wish it was the Queen, and you could draw anyway. um, but yeah, versus like when it gets reckless by a Lewis under a snowfall, and then they have to just send it to its death and trade it down into a 3-drop. That's not a very good proposition. Um, so yeah, just in general, a lot of these cards that give reckless feel like they're getting a little tick up for me, and they're a
Yeah.
little better. Time to dust them off and bring them back out again.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's it for me. So what do we say? Do we have a good meta game? Yeah, it's okay, I would say.
I think
It's
so.
yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't call it bad. Like
yeah,
it's almost like you know the parts of it that you might consider not good, like if you feel like Blurple is a bit too good, or you find it just very boring, as a lot of people do because it's been so dominant for so long. Like the bad bits are nothing new. It's not like there is new poison in the water source. There's new cures. There are new exciting things to do alongside it. There are just a few lingering things that don't feel quite so good from past sets. But in terms of new stuff, there's like interesting new things to do. The format feels pretty flat. Um, yeah, I'm excited. It should be. I'm really looking forward to casting next weekend. I think it'd be a super cool tournament to cast at some point. I need to get some very good, valuable reps before playing in Ghent, or I'm just going to bomb out and have to accept my life as a caster. But
You're
which
too good.
there are much worse lives to have. By the way, it's I'm not angry at that. But yeah, which is it's kind of tough to balance the two. I think people tend to do one or the other, but I'm
Yeah,
trying to just sort of like go for it. Trying to compete and also cast is it's a little hard. It's gonna be harder to qualify for continentals when I don't play in any UK CCQs. But
yeah,
yes, yeah, I think overall I'm very excited for the format, very excited for the weeks ahead, and I think yeah, we got a really good time ahead of us. Feels good.
nice. That's some good conclusion words. Um, yeah, do you have anything to add? Uh,
No, just again, if you're coming to the CCQ in Leicester next week, I'm going to be there casting. Come say hello. More than happy to. Love chatting with listeners. Do come up and have a chat. And yeah, make sure you get your ticket if you haven't. We are getting very very close to the tournament, and I'm looking forward to seeing people there.
nice. Okay, then I can only say, or we can only say, thank you everybody for watching. Till next week, and bye bye.
Bye bye.